Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so if a woman has been divorced, first divorce or second divorce, this is known as a revocable divorce. In the books of fiqh, they have called this baynunat al-sughra, meaning that there is a chance for them to get back together. She has to do the iddah in her husband's home. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, لَا تُخْرِجُوهُنَّ مِن بُيُوتِهِنَّ وَلَا يَخْرُجْنَ إِلَّا يَأْتِينَ بِفَاحِشَةٍ مُبَيِّنَةٍ. Do not expel them out of their homes. Do not drive them out. Do not, make them stay elsewhere during the iddah period, unless if there is a fahisha mubayyinah. And the fahisha, the ulama have differed. If she has done zina, may Allah protect us, then they have said she doesn't need to do iddah, as in the husband doesn't need to spend time with her anymore. He's made his decision. This is talaq. This is over. There's not going to be any kind of reconciliation whatsoever because she has come with a fahisha mubayyinah. Some of the ulama say fahisha mubayyinah basically means she is really foul, as in like there's nothing good about her, not her iman, not her akhlaq, and it's general in its fahisha, as in she's a lewd person, she's got lewd habits, etc. And he doesn't want her anymore. In that case, she can do iddah anywhere else. But the asl, in its origin, as you can see from this ayah, this is Surah Talaq. Talaq meaning, the ahkam of talaq in Surah Talaq itself. The asl is that she has to do it in her husband's home. And this is what the Messenger of Allah, in many hadith from the Sunnah, has told us also. And the illah, and the reason why this has been given to us, is because at least two reasons. Number one, while she's in her iddah period, she's still the wife, so he still has to provide for her. There is still maintenance. There are still responsibilities because they're still within nikah during the iddah period. Just because he's divorced her doesn't mean that the nikah is automatically concluded. The iddah period has to be, seen out, and then the talaq is finalized, which is 3 menstrual cycles. The second reason is that there is hope then for reconciliation. And this teaches us that Islam doesn't want to break up families. Islam actually wants to create more families and wants to create more unity and for the ummah to spread. This is the asl. However, the ulama have said, if there is a darura, now darura basically meaning a necessity, if a person wasn't to do this thing which is necessary, then they could be put in harm's way. And there are many examples of what is darura that we've talked about in our classes as well. And the most common one that I think every single Muslim knows of, which is that if a person is starving, they can eat pig's meat. Yeah? So in order to save himself from falling into death and starvation, you can do something which is haram. And it's the same thing here. In order for you to avert yourself from harm from the husband, then she can ask the wali to ask the husband to say, listen, I don't want to do iddah at your house. There is no chance of reconciliation, and there is actually fear of harm from your part. I don't want to do it there. So the ulama have said this is the ruling, and necessity can be applied to this, just like you can apply to almost anything in what is halal and haram. However, I really want to stress this point here, which is I'm only saying what the books of law have said, the Sharia says. However, the application of it has to be done via an imam or Islamic center. This is because the judgment has to be passed by a scholar or by a student knowledge to say, listen, there is a darura, and this is how we're going to apply it. And there are conditions to darura as well. It could be that there is an option where she can stay with the husband and feel safe at the same time. Meaning if the house is big enough, for example, and she has her own separate quarters or something like that. So basically what I'm saying is that no, she's not allowed to do iddah wherever she wants. She has to do it in her husband's home because they're still within nikah. If there is fear, then yes, that is grounds for her not to do it in her husband's home. But all of that has to then be determined by an imam or student knowledge, or someone like that, who can hear from both parties and then give that decision for you. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He makes it easy and that He allows them to choose what is best for their dunya and their akhirah. Assalamu alaikum.